Good morning, kids. It's Mr. Agee here, and I wanted to start this week's recorded lessons for math with a review of the check for understanding I posted at the end of last week. I'll be using these Google Forms frequently to check in on you and see how you're doing. I get this cool little analytics sheet here in the responses where I can see how everybody answered the questions. Um, and what I want to do is look at this summary to show you. So this gives me a little bar graph and a sheet that shows who answered what. And I didn't ask for your names on this Google form, so I don't know who did which answers for this one. But it was like a practice run of what you're going to do to make sure that you're understanding the things that we're presenting. So you can see the first question says, asked the picture below shows four groups of two oranges. Write a repeated addition equation that describes the picture. So we had one person write 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 12. We had another person, or no, we had 17 of you, 70.8% of you wrote 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 8. Which is in fact the correct answer. Then we had someone else respond 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 8 exclamation point. So this exclamation point, I'm happy that you were excited if that was you, but when I'm going to have Google grade these, and it will accept a range of options for grading, but I'm going to make sure that you're putting math symbols only, and I'll look at it too. If it counts, I would count this right on a student's paper. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 8 exclamation point, but the exclamation point actually is a mathematical symbol called a factorial. But that's pretty advanced mathematics, and we're going to stick to just writing the equations as with the symbols um, that go in the equations. So this would be the best answer. 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 8 right here. Um, Here someone this is a repeated addition equation, but it is 4 plus 4, which does equal 8, but the repeated addition equation that describes four groups of 2 is one group of 2, two groups of 2, three groups of 2, four groups of 2. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 8. So this is the correct answer. And there were some other people who wrote words. This may or may not be correct. 2 times 2 4 times. It's actually not correct. It would be 2 plus 2 4 times. But when it asks for words, that wouldn't be an example of a mathematical equation, or when you answer in words. And here someone just put an 8. That doesn't give a repeated addition equation, so you have to follow the directions of the item. And both of these two, 4 times 2 and 4 times 4, are both multiplication equations. This one doesn't describe the situation at all because we've got four groups of 2, not four groups of 4. So this would be four groups of 4 equals 16. So this one has numerous problems, and this one here, 4 times 2 equals 8, um, is a multiplication equation, not a repeated addition equation. You got to make sure you follow the instructions that they give you or that you're given. So in the second item, we've got write a multiplication equation that describes the picture above. We had four groups of 2, so it would be 4 times 2 equals 8. So it says multiplication equation, and in the lesson work last week, we discussed how an equation has an equal sign with numbers on both sides. Okay, so we've got 4 times 2 equals 8 would describe it, and 2 times 4 equals 8 would describe it. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, this would be a repeated multiplying equation, incorrect. This is a repeated addition equation. So you can see gives a different answer here for spaces. So it says 2 space times 4. I would count this as the same as this, as the same as this, as the same as this. If it's 2 times 4 equals 8, and you put some spaces and other people didn't, that's okay. That's okay. We will be making sure that you are correct on those. But if you wrote anything other than 2 times 4 equals 8, then you didn't describe the repeated addition equation 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. So the big idea is we don't have to go through every single one of these. You guys did a great job on this. There is going to be some variation in how you can respond, but let's try to make sure we're answering the question directly as asked, um, and that way when I give feedback and I'm able to address your specific performance, then you'll have the best chance of getting these answers correct. So which item shows another way to show 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 9? That's 3 groups of 3 oranges equals 9. So we've got 1 group of 3, 2 groups of 3, 3 groups of 3, and that equals 9 total things. So this is not 9 total things. The blue dot's not 9 total things. And 3 times 3 times 3 would be different. So 3 times 3 groups of 3 times would be more than 9. So this one actually describes the situation. 3 groups of 3 oranges. So the 87.5%, 21 out of 24 got that one correct. There are 3 rows of circles. How many are in each row? So this was a little drawing. There were 4 circles in each row. So 91.7% of you got that one correct. And I'm not sure why this 4 is different from this 4. Maybe there's a space, maybe there's a space afterwards. I'm not sure. But 4 times 3 here, the person who answered 4 times 3 is not answering 3 rows, or how many circles are in each row. That would be a description of the array overall. So how many total circles are in the array. And then the last one is asking for write a multiplication equation that describes the array. So this one here would have worked for that, but we've got 4 times a multiplication equation, not expression. Remember, equations have equal signs, expressions do not. So we've got 3 times 4 equals 12, and 4 times 3 equals 12. Don't put too much stuff. So this one here would get marked wrong because it has you have extra stuff in your answer that isn't related to the problem. So 4 plus 3 equals 7. While that is true, it does not go with this question. Here we've got 4 times 3 equals 12, but then a whole bunch of exclamation points afterwards. So there's no way for me to automatically grade um, uh, an item like this. So let's leave the exclamation points off and just write the equation that's asked for. 4 times 3 equals 12. 3 times 4 equals 12. All right, so you'll be having some more of those soon. I want to get into the lesson for today, which is all about understanding the group size and number of groups being the factors in a multiplication equation. So we are working in your workbook on lesson 3 problem set. Lesson 3 problem set gives us these instructions. Solve problems 1 through 4 using the pictures provided for each problem. Okay, so here, your job is going to be to complete lesson 3 problem set. And usually in class we do a few examples together, and I will have students continue on with the work and then move into the homework to do more independently. So we get a chance to see what the expectations are. So here we've got 5 flowers in each bunch. How many flowers are in 4 bunches? Okay, so I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flowers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the same picture. 5 and 5. So how many groups are there? The number of groups. Okay, so I see 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups. So there are 4 groups, and the size of each group is 5 flowers. So four groups, 5 flowers in each group. And so here we see the same exact problem, just written purely in numerical form. That means numbers. 4 times 5 equals, and then you can skip count by fives, 5, 10, 15, 20. Or you could count them individually, which we want to avoid if possible, but if you need to do it that way, that's fine. But we need to start working on figuring out strategies that work for us to accurately multiply. There are blank flowers altogether. So right here gives us the product or the total. So you'll write that number on how many flowers there are altogether. All right, so again, we've got another groups problem. There are blank candies in each box. How many candies are in 6 boxes? Okay, so the number of groups is the number of times we've got a collection of candies. You'll count those up and you'll put it on the line. And then the size of each group is how many items are in each group. So we've got, they give you the number of groups here, and they put it first in the equation, 6 groups of, or 6 times, and then the size of the group, whatever number you write here, is going to go in this box. So 6 times the size of each group, 6 groups times the number of items in the group, and then you've got the total items represented. And so whatever you write on this line here as the product to your multiplication equation, you transfer into this line. There are blank candies altogether. All right, and they give you another one of these problems where you have to determine the number of groups, and the groups for this one are rows. So how many rows are there? And then the size or the items per group is how many oranges are in each row. So basically that's what you're going to be doing throughout this assignment. Eventually they make you do more and more of the equation. So they want you to put the groups first, the size of the groups second. So it's groups times size of group equals product. And then they ask you to write your own multiplication equation for the array shown below, and then to draw a number bond for the array where each part represents the amount in one row. So the number bond would be the product would be in the would be the circle. I'll have to draw you a picture of this today. And each of I can't draw a picture using this this format here. But if you have trouble with this, I can help you with it. I'll definitely show you an example of this during our live session today. And then it says draw your own array. So draw an array using the factors 2 and 3. So it's either 2 times 3 or 3 times 2. And you have to draw an array that represents that. You can use X's just like this. Then show a number bond where each part represents the amount in one row. Okay, so when it says where each part, you've got the circle that's the product in the center, and all the parts go to the product in the center. So each part would show the number in each circle going to the product would show. I'm just going to have to demonstrate this in the last lesson because you have to visually see this. Words don't do enough, and I will make sure you see this today. So we'll make sure we check in about that. And then we've got here the extension work. You'll get some extra practice doing this. I'm not assigning this, but if you finish and you've got plenty of time left in math, you can go ahead and work on the homework for lesson 3 and get some extra work on that. The only assignment for this is the lesson 3 problem set. So you'll be doing numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5A and B, and 6.